Good up and good to go. Excited to be joining you live today. Today, we're going to be talking all about how to restart learning a language. And in fact, I was speaking with someone just this morning, this morning, about they were like, oh, I've been doing it a while. And then I took this break and I'm not sure what to do and how to start. And I was like, today is the day. It's literally what I'm going to be talking about. So we're here. We're going to talk about this now. I've just shared this today over on the blog, so you can see the whole post on the website as well. But I'm going to go through everything with you live here today, so we're covered and you know what's up. And the main thing that I really want you to take on board is that when you're thinking about restarting a language, everything I'm going to share with you today is not everything that you have to do, right? So the first solid piece of advice I have for you is not to feel that you have to do everything. Really just take one or two things that excites you and gets you feeling, oh yeah, that's what I want to be doing. That's what I want to be. I need that. So the thing that kind of hits a little spark, that's the thing to go with, not just try everything all at once. That's going to be chaos. It's not going to make you feel good. So that's the first thing I have to say. So now let's get into it. That's out of the way. So treat yourself to a new resource. Now, this could be anything. And I'm definitely not advocating going out and buying all the things and then just having this pile of books and expecting you to suddenly be fluent. That's not going to happen. But what it can do is just give you that real fresh energy. So if you bring something new into the space, then it's like a refresh. It's the ultimate restart. And so it could be a sort of a paid for resource, like a book or a course, maybe an app subscription that you've had your eye on, maybe joining something like Language Life, where you're thinking oh yeah, I've been thinking about it. That's the kind of thing that can spark it. But it could equally be that you start listening to a new podcast, or you change up the thing that you read every morning. So there's so many different ways that you can do this, but treating yourself to a new resource is a really good solid starter to this whole thing. Secondly, so many resources. Okay, let's talk about that. So Evan says so many resources. And was it last week? I think I was talking about how to personalize any resource. And when it comes to resources, something else I would say is this idea of not feeling like you have to have so many resources, because that is just overwhelm. It's too much. It's not going to make you feel good. It's going to make you feel like you're constantly behind. So really focusing in on the things that bring you joy, the things that you enjoy, the things that feel like they're working for you, right? Just a couple of things is all you need. Sometimes kind of a minimalist approach to resources with language learning is a really good way to go about it. Secondly, take some time to set new goals. And I know what you think. Anytime people mention goals and planning, it's very easy to then kind of think well, why waste time planning when I could just be doing it? Okay, I see where you're coming from, but I promise you that if you take a little bit of time out to set some goals, to readjust your plans, to review what you've been doing and learning, and then go back into it, you will be just so much better. You'll be doing more. You'll be and I don't mean more as in just more time, but you'll be taking in more because you've got this fresh kind of, again, it's a reset, right? And so taking some time to set some new goals is just that ultimate pause that is going to give you the little boost to keep moving forward. Okay, potentially controversial one, but the next one is to switch languages. So maybe, you've been studying one language for a while and it's kind of, you're plodding along, things are feeling a bit stale, you've left it behind. Actually stopping where you're at with that language, hitting pause, that doesn't mean to say you've wasted all your time and you're now just leaving it in the past. That's not what this is, because that's not what happens. There's always going to be something there. But then looking over here and seeing what other languages are about that you're curious about. It could be that you have a month to just explore a totally brand new language. No goals, no pressure, just pure fun. It could be that you revisit a language that you've studied in the past. You want to see how you do. You want to kind of check in. That's fine too. Or it could be that you want to just explore multiple languages and see how you can find a balance there before maybe coming back to what you were doing before. Either way, however this looks for you, this can be a real good way to restart, because it just gives you that pause without feeling that you're doing nothing, without feeling that you're just wasting your time not doing the language, you know? So switching languages up, kind of changing not just the resource, not just the goals, but actually the language that we're learning in the first place. Taking on a new challenge. Okay, so challenges, and challenging yourself. I know that with sport, I really feel this, right? So I've just, a couple of weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks tomorrow that we left to go, I think. 2 weeks tomorrow we started, in fact. I cycled across the country, right? There's this route called the C2C. It goes in the north, kind of at the narrowest bit of the country, and it goes all the way across 150 miles. And I've been waiting to do that for 2 years. Because of COVID, it's been postponed. It was in the summer, right at the end of summer. So it was just this long drag waiting for this thing to happen. And now it's happened. It's like, okay, cool. Now I feel like I'm at this loose end, right? It's like, well, what do I do now? Do I do more running? Do I do more cycling? Do I go swimming? I'm at this loose end. So I'm looking now for this new challenge, with my sports, to give me this kind of focus for exercise. And you can do the same thing with language learning. So you can be thinking, right, what's my challenge right now? What's my kind of short-term reason to be learning this language now and to be doing what I'm doing now? And it can be a real good motivator to get you restarted after a break. Next up, make morning and evening plans. So we're at this time of year where, at least in the Northern Hemisphere, where the mornings are getting darker and the nights are getting shorter. And so one of the best things that we can do right now is to make plans for the mornings, for the evenings, because it's very, very easy to just fall into this kind of comfy groove of, I'm just gonna let the autoplay roll over to the next episode on Netflix. Oh, I missed the remote. Oh no, now I'm watching the third episode. Oh well, it's dark outside. What else am I going to do? But if you've actively made plans, especially plans that involve other people, so if you've got lessons or exchanges booked, stuff like this, then that can be a real, a good use of that time that otherwise is very easy to become wasted. So that's a suggestion that's kind of relevant to this time of year. Speaking of, the next one as well. So planning. So when you're thinking about those new goals, planning only until the end of the year. Okay. So you are not feeling, because the thing is with goals, right? We kind of feel, okay, I'm going to set a goal. I'm going to be fluent in Spanish. That is going to take a long time. And so if that's the only goal we have, we're working towards this really far away goal that we're just not going to reach right away. And so given that we're now in September, we can plan only until the end of the year. And we've got that very clearly in sight, this December line, right? Of a few months away. It's very easy to see. It's very easy to plan for that short term in terms of, right, what can I actually get done before the year is done? The year's not over yet. So what can I get done before there? This is a great chance to restart things, rather than why wait for January? Why wait for a New Year's resolution? So just planning until the end of the year, keep it nice and short and sweet. Go back to school. Again, focusing in on that September vibe, that kind of new school, new term thing. This tends to line up with local sort of academic timetables for adult stuff as well, right? So are there any sort of community courses around where you live? Even if they're taught online at the moment, this could be a great chance to get that sort of formal language boost. It could be a really good opportunity to meet local learners, which could lead to longer lasting exchange partners, or study buddies, and so it's a real opportunity at this time of year to kind of explore all of these options for going back to school and restarting your language learning with a bit of formal study as well. The other one kind of related to this is to learn something new. So maybe your language skills, you feel like they're pretty strong, but you just want to give a bit of like, you want to revisit this language, but not in a kind of formal languagey way. You want to see, where am I? I know I'm not at the beginning of chapter 1, book 1. I know I can do that. A great challenge can be finding something that is either related to or taught in the language. So, for example, a Taekwondo class if you're learning Korean, or a French pastry class if you're learning French, or an Indonesian batik workshop if Indonesian is what you're learning. These kinds of things, they could be online, they could be local, but it gives you a chance to connect deeper into the culture related to the language. And this is often something that's missing from language learning, is that kind of that lasting connection that can be a real anchor to draw us back when we do feel untethered, and when we do have breaks, and then we do want to restart. This is what we're often looking for, is that reason. And so learning something else that's sort of language adjacent, language related, can be a real good way to do this. Okay, next up, picking a topic and deep diving. So in the planner, in the Solo Language Learner planner that I have available, I have some deep dive pages in there, right? And the idea is that you can think of like a vocab topic, and you can just deep dive the whole thing. You can think of a grammar area, and you can deep dive the whole thing. The page is all there for it. And the idea is that you decide what the focus is going to look like. So it could be, okay, I want to focus on food. I want to learn lots and lots of new stuff there. Or you could be really, really focused in and really deep diving on one particular dish, let's say patatas bravas, right? And you want to learn all the history and all the different varieties of flavor, and the kind of, there's a lot of like myth around food, isn't there? All of that stuff. And you could do all of that in the language, in this case, in our example, in Spanish, let's say. And then you get to decide as well, does this fit? Is this like something that is just kind of a cultural way to get back into things, or is this something that you are going to learn about in the language? Is it going to be a language theme? So there's ways that you can play and you can use this. Okay, dig into your watch list. So you've probably over the years found a few shows that you're like, yeah, okay, I want to watch that in Russian, let's say. It's time to dig in. When you want to restart, it's great to start like a new show, or explore like a new film, right? Because it just gives you that chance to, again, the connection with the language and the culture, but also you have options. You can enjoy the film for what it is, or you can let it guide your learning. So there's some ideas as well there in the blog for Netflix shows, ways to use Disney Plus, ways to use Netflix when it comes to that as well. Okay, find your new favorite song. So similar to the last idea, but this time music. I love music. It's always a good motivator. I have a playlist. If you've never seen this already, highly recommend. Can you highly recommend your own stuff? Of course you can. I highly recommend my playlist, Not My Mother Tongue. Every week I update this with 7 new songs in a whole host of different languages. And it's just a real good way to listen to things that you might not otherwise listen to, like find a new favorite song, that kind of thing. So start there, Not My Mother Tongue. Also on Spotify, I've got lots of audio lesson playlists, and like lots of playlists of like my favorite songs in different languages as well. But it's a great anchor to kick off as you're restarting learning a language. So yeah, that is pretty much it. That's what I wanted to share. I know there was a comment here on Instagram. Taking a semester abroad for students is another great one. Just began applying for a semester in Russia. Oh, Alex, that's amazing. How exciting. That's so cool. All right. So there we go. All right. Well, thank you for joining me. I think you can see me over here as well. Hopefully, I think it's working. And I will see you very soon. I'll be back live next week. And in the meantime, have a wonderful weekend. All right. Thank you. Bye. Bye.